G'day, welcome back. So about time we made some progress on the Morris Minor. I'm here with one of the rear doors. By the end of this video, this door is going to be stripped down, in primer, ready for top paint. So yeah, 4 doors to do. Make a video of this one, see how it goes. Gives us a chance to test our paint removal processes and check out our paint, the paint that we're going to use, and let's get into it. So the doors are in pretty good condition really. Look at the bottom edge, a little bit of surface rust, but nothing too bad. Certainly nothing that needs repairing. Maybe a wee bit of filler here and there, but overall they're pretty straight. I certainly had. You can see they've already had a good respray. These are rubber bungs and they've just been painted over, so it's had a pretty average paint job at some stage. We can give it another average paint job. But yeah, it's going to look better than this. If it ever focuses. Focus. If it ever focuses, there we go. That was a bit more of an effort than I was expecting, but everything's off. I've left the locking mechanism inside because I couldn't figure out how to get the clips off, but it doesn't matter, it's zip tied out the way. It's not a problem there. We'll figure it out somewhere along the line, I'm sure. But now we're just going to take off the paint. As you've seen, I've stripped off one of the rear doors down to bare metal. That was pretty easy with the flap disc and the grinder. Next we're going to put some primer surfacer and then some filler primer on top and see how that comes out. Just using a door as a test piece so we can get our equipment set up right and get the technique right. And yeah, let's go through the gear. So all the paint and all the painting tools came from Supercheap Auto, of course. Heart of it, we've got the gravity fed gun, which is set on that handy holder. The holder is really cool because you also got this extra piece here, so you can put your filter on top, and so one-handed operation. You can fill up your gun. We got some thinners. We got some primer surfacer, which will be our first layer. We got the primer filler, which will go on top, fill any imperfections. We got some filters. We got some measuring cups. We got some acetone to clean the panel. Got my spray mask, got a stirrer, got all the kind of stuff. Spray gun, we've also got a little water separator. These things work really well. They're only a couple of bucks from Supercheap. I use them every time I paint something. They work really fantastically. Don't get any water on the product. And yeah, that's what we're going to use. And of course the compressor, we've got a 2.5 horsepower 40 litre tank, 185 free air delivery, belt driven compressor, the biggest one Supercheap do. This should work pretty well. We've kind of toned it down, the pressure, so max pressure is going to be about 35 psi, which should be what the gun likes. And let's go mix some paint. Alright, so we'll start with a primer surfacer. good stir. Not much in the way of instructions on the primer surfacer. It doesn't tell you the dilution or the thinning ratio. Primer filler, you thin that up to 2 to 1, so we'll do the same on the primer surfacer to begin with, see how that paints, because it's pretty thick stuff all up. We'll need thinning somehow, so we'll do 2 to 1. It's where these cups come in handy. It's got all your ratios on there, so 1 to 1, 2 to 1, plus all your percentage of hardener if you're using two-pack stuff, which obviously we don't at home. Right, 2 to 1, 100 ml. Yeah, that stuff doesn't like thinner. Maybe this goes on neat. Right, so I tried to thin that first lot with the enamel thinner, and that was our result. I've also got the multi-purpose thinner, which I've just added to the batch in the gun, and that's actually thinned really nicely. So we'll try shooting this one, see what happens. That's a couple of coats of primer surfacer. That looks pretty good. There's no runs, no anything else. So we're going to go ahead and put the primer filler on, and then we'll get to sanding. It's only primer, we're just going to wing it, pour it straight in the can, add some thinner, about 50%, and go from there. Let's get spraying. So that was a good test. We did some painting with the bloody Supercheap Auto paint and it came out bloody well. Oh, bloody marvellous. Hey. We'll try that again, a bit less like choppery. There we are, we sprayed something. A few coats of primer surfacer, a few coats of primer filler. This looks pretty good, quite happy with that. Surface prepared with a flat disc. To be honest, I probably could have prepared the surface a wee bit better, but that's all part of the learning to find out what I actually need to do. Yes, a couple of wee marks on there, but that's fine, we'll fix it all up. The aim of the game today was just kind of test out the paint, test out the spray guns, test out all the equipment, and I think we're in pretty good shape. That spray gun's really nice to use. It's kind of got a good balance, good weight, sprays really nicely. Really happy with that. Moisture filters, a couple of bucks, always use one. The new compressor, the big 2.5 horsepower one, it's a whole lot better to use for spray painting than the little fella I used for the last paint job. We'll put a link below of the last spray painting I did. That came out really well too, but on a super budget. So yeah, learned a little bit about our enamel thinner and the primer surfacer. Those two don't mix. Need to figure out what the difference is between multi-purpose thinners and enamel thinner. Maybe you know, maybe you don't, but if you do, put it down there. I'll ask the guys at Supercheap. But yeah, quite happy with that. That's going to dry well, give it a nice sand because it's primer filler. So I have a super smooth surface, and we'll put some top coat on. But that's all I wanted to do today, show you that I'm making progress and show you the progress. So there we go. Comment, like, subscribe. We're going to crack on in the next couple of weeks and actually make some progress, believe it or not. So yeah, we'll see you at the next one. Cheers.